ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Sonimmo Podcast. I'm your host, Hamad Mustafa, and today I have the incredible pleasure of hosting our lead property manager, Kate. Alongside her, we have Carlo, our managing director, and we're going to be talking about the importance of property management, and we're going to give you guys a ton of value in terms of, renting, or if you're a landlord, and all sorts of things pertaining to that. So without further ado, welcome, Kate, to the podcast. How are you doing?
Thank you so much, Hamad. It's a pleasure to be here.
We're just going to start out first, tell us a little bit about yourself, your background.
Sure. Actually, I started to do property management back in 2021, after Corona time exactly. So that time, everything after Corona, everything was just about short-term rent. So I spent like 2 years doing short-term only.
Okay.
And then after 2 years, I joined Sonimmo. So now I'm also 2 years in Sonimmo. And also here we have also short-term and long-term. But for us, mostly we focusing more on long-term, which is help us to engage with our owners more.
Okay, excellent. Now, I want to ask you, when we say property management, a lot of people don't understand what the meaning of this is. What exactly is property management?
So basically, we are middle part between the owner and the tenant. So whatever it comes to the maintenance, whatever it's related to the rent collection, we are there. So basically, we are here for the people who especially here in Dubai actually, people travel a lot. So we are the people here who can take care of the property while they are doing their best life.
Okay. And Carlo, if I'm not mistaken, this is a very integral part of even when you're selling to a client, this is a huge part of the after-sales process to ensure good property management for your investors.
Yes, absolutely, Ahmed. For us, I'm very proud of property management as a service because it's one of the vertical that help us in terms of company to grow the most, because it's something that most clients underestimate in terms of service, because the thing is something, you purchase a house, even if you live in the other side of the world, just find a tenant and then, you don't need to worry much. But then during the tenancy, many things can happen. That's when a department like property management can be in place, because if there is an issue in the apartment, that can be from maintenance to anything related to the guest experience itself. We have a team dedicated to support the guest and to make sure that the owner has, like Askey was saying, living the best life,
Zero
no
stress.
And at the same time, this adds value to the property, because I can tell you from commercial perspective, when you don't have property management, most of the time the house, you don't know what's going on, if you don't know if it's well maintained, if the tenant has an issue. So it's very important for even owners that live in Dubai to maintain the apartments, because these add value to the property, to their asset. Tomorrow morning they want to resell it or they want to keep it, will appreciate.
Okay.
Because otherwise, and this happened a lot in our experience, sometimes you have tenant for years and the owner never did property management before, and they found out that the apartment was never well maintained. So you need to spend time and money in refurbishing the unit, renovating it, which might, take ROI from a rental yield from your investment.
Okay. So if I'm not getting this wrong, this is basically, this makes the difference between day and night in terms of your capital appreciation and your ROI as well, if you have a good company doing property management for your property. And so it's a very smart financial decision to engage with you so that you can ensure everything's maintained and proper in accordance to, the investor's needs.
Of course, yeah. Before we do verification of the person, for example, if there's a person reaching out for the apartment, we do a proper QIC on the person. So in case we not ended up the person like doing subleasing, because right now, unfortunately, in Dubai, there's a lot of scam happening.
Really?
For even long term, not only short term. However, we are trying to really investigate what the background of the person, what this person is doing, if he's reliable tenant. So this is really helps to ensure that the property giving in a good hand.
Okay, I didn't know that. So you actually look into the person who's inquiring and
Of course,
make sure that
we
they're a
make
good
sure
fit for the.
we make sure that he doesn't has any problem before with the RDC, this rental dispute center, and in case if there is any problem happening during the. Unfortunately, if there is non-payment and anything related to the dispute between the landlord and the owner, between the tenant and the owner. So basically, there is a rental dispute center who helps to fix this issues.
And typically, what are the most common disputes that people face in terms of rental with the landlord?
Mostly it's about non-payment or subleasing without approval. So this is the two common things which is more or less happening.
Okay. And can you give us an example of a case where there's been a dispute in the rental non-payment and how you managed to sort it out?
We actually, that happened as well. Back in the day, we had one-bedroom apartment, and unfortunately, that time, the owner decided to do long-term. He already gave us apartment already with the existing tenant.
Okay.
So basically, what happened that, first of all, there was a bounce check. Then we tried to investigate what is going on. The person is not answering. And then we had to go into details and check, we try to reach out, of course, legal. We have to send a legal notice with notary public. There is a big procedure to evict the person, but more or less it's doable. But of course, if you choose wisely the tenant, you will not have this issue.
Prevention is better than cure.
Yeah.
Right, makes sense.
Course.
And Carlo, you have extensive experience in Europe working in real estate, I believe in London. You also, if I'm not mistaken, you've done leasing in London. What are some of the key differences that you see in this rental system over there versus in Dubai?
What I can tell you from my experience, for example, in London, it's very common to do background check. In Dubai, something that not many companies are doing. With background check, what I mean is due diligence. So people check what's which company you're working for. We sometimes ask for salary certificate because owner want to be sure that whoever is gonna move in the apartment can afford the property. It's gonna take good care of the property. At the same time, it's someone reliable. So in Dubai, as Kay was saying, is something that we started doing since the beginning with the property management at Sonimmo. So for us, it's very important to do tenant screening. In the UK, I can tell you that, for example, if you don't have if you cannot provide, I would say, affordability, and you cannot prove that you have this eligibility, most of owners ask you to pay in advance. Let's say your lease is 6 months, which is not very common, for example, in Dubai. In Dubai, the lease most of the time is 1 year, but you can do 6 months as per the Jari, which is the registration of the lease agreement. But in London, most of the time, or in the UK in general, if you cannot provide proof of income, salary certificate, payslip, etc., they ask you to pay either 6 months in advance, like what we would call in Dubai one check, so you pay in one shot, or they would ask you for a guarantor, so a third party, like a third person, which can guarantee in case you don't pay your rent, that they will appeal to this person to pay in your behalf. In Dubai, something that it's not happening yet. Maybe they will introduce it later on. We are seeing there is new trend that there are third parties that you pay them monthly and they pay the owner in a few checks. But still, we're still at the early stages about this because everything really depends on the profile, as Kay was saying. At the same time, of course, less checks, tenants are trying to pay more, I would say, flexibility in the price that are expecting.
Right.
But again, it's no guarantee. Every case is different, every owner is different, every requirement or needs are different. So.
Okay. And from what I've heard, the eviction process in London, in the UK, is quite complicated. So if you get a tenant that is, let's say, defaulting on their payments, it's often very difficult to get them out.
Yes, absolutely. But even in Italy, it's where I'm from, it's very complicated to evict tenant because Anyway, the law in general always take the part of the tenants because they want to avoid, from the other point of view, the owner abuse their own powers on the tenants, which is very similar, I would say, in the UAE in terms of like the law try to guarantee that the tenant has all the possible rights, which I completely understand and I believe is fair. But at the same time, in Dubai, it's much more straightforward, the process, because Kate will give you more insight about this. But in Dubai, and Kate can confirm, I believe if you have a default, the first time you send a reminder, like a notice to the tenant to settle the payment about the check, about the installment of the rent. And then you have a 30 days, I believe, window to pay.
First of all, it's try to be in touch with him, send him mail, follow up on WhatsApp, call, wherever. And then if he's not answering, nothing going on, you have to go to the notary public to submit a legal notice. Then the way you have to wait for 30 days to the person to submit everything. In case if he's failed to do so, we can open the case. It's a first instant case. And then we waiting for the court hearing. After the court hearing, we getting a decision. After the decision, if the decision was in our favor, so we are getting a new case, which is enforcement case. In this scenario, after that, he has a 15 days to appeal, and then after that, the court already with the RDC, with the police officer. We can go. They're calling you, and we are going together, open the apartment, and taking the property back to the owner.
Okay.
So it's really a long process, and it's as I said, screening the tenant
important.
before the signing contract in Ijari is very important, because once you sign the Ijari, it's very, very, very complicated.
So
it's like an agreement, basically.
Yeah.
Once you have an ijari, it's an agreement which is registered between two parties, the tenant and the owner. The only problem is most people, I believe in terms of subleasing, for example, think it's not legal. It's not illegal. It's legal as long as the owner, the property management company, allow you to do that. It's written black and white in the contract, everything is fine. But the problem is most people rent for themselves and then sublease to third parties, which is not legal in that case.
Okay. And about the frequency of cases where people have issues with non-payment, does that happen a lot in your experience in Dubai, or is that something that's rare?
No, it's like, thanks God, it's not that very common, I would say. But unfortunately, it's happening. Sometimes it really happens even with the good people like that doesn't have any bad intention not to pay, but they don't have any choice. So in this scenario, it's again, unfortunately, it has to go through RDC, and then with the court giving you let's say installment where you can cover this.
Okay.
So as I said, it's not very common, but it's happening.
Okay. What is the strangest or most complicated situation you faced in terms of property management so far?
Well, it's all the time. It's just this kind of negotiation between the landlords and and the tenant who's staying in the apartment, because most of the time it's about rent increase or maintenance. Because in each contract, of course, in tenancy, there is a clause where we are keeping for maintenance. It's just, for example, let's say for one bedroom it's 1,000 dirham. So whatever is like all the major things has to be on the landlord, and all the minor things will be on the let's say tenant side. So it's still like it's black and white, but still there is like a lot of disputes happening.
Okay. Is there a specific case that comes to your mind that stands out that really kind of shocked you?
Well, every day something happening, with property management life, every day is something new. But as I said, I was talking earlier about this one-bedroom apartment. Unfortunately, when we opened with the RDC inspector and everything, it was tiny one-bedroom apartment, and unfortunately, there was 8 people were staying in it.
Wow.
So
like 600 square feet apartment.
Yeah, so I was like, that's. I think this is the like this is the biggest shock I had so far from this.
Okay.
Until now, it's been like.
Because I remember, imagine like the powder room next to the living room. They transformed it into a proper bathroom. They stole like a pipe or something. They was connected to the sink and they were using it as a shower because apparently they put 2 bunk beds, I think, in the living room, and there were like 8 people living, 4 in the master bedroom and 4 in the living room. And no one knew about this. I mean, the owner itself rented to a person, and this guy subleased it to other 8 people. So they were doing like more than flat share, they were doing bed spaces.
Bed spaces,
Yeah,
right.
so,
Again, I feel so bad for those people as well.
and these people didn't know, like the worst part was when the Kate, along with the inspector, the RDC guy went there, the tenant was shocked because they were paying their own rent with the money they were earning, like from, their own jobs. They were paying the rent to someone that was lying to them. Basically.
Lying to them, right. And what are the kind of penalties for someone who does something like this, subleasing without the landlord's permission?
See, most of the time is like first of all, it's 50,000 dirham fine from
That's good.
the DCM. First of all, without license approval from the DCM. This is if you do short term without anything. But of course, apart from that, you can open the case with the police, and this is already like a kind of criminal case.
Okay.
So it can imply into other consequences, which are, like, for example, travel ban, means the person cannot leave the country. But the problem is we have found out that most of the time the people do something like this. They just rent an apartment, they leave the country, and they receive the money in a UAE bank account. They will be frozen. I mean, they will freeze the account right away whenever you open the case, but they already cash out all the money. So it's the very bad inconvenience. It's for the tenant, which most of the time they have no clue about what's going on, and the owner, because they will not recover anything financially if the person is not in the country anymore. So that's, I would say, the worst part. And again, the timeline, but I can guarantee you, comparing to Europe, it's nothing. In 2-3 months, you can evict a person. In Europe, you spend years with lawyers, legal cases, and it's not going to be something pleasant. But, the reason why I really foster the idea of property management in general is because this can happen if you have someone that you have, that's looking after your property. It can still happen, but it will happen less comparing to if you have no one looking after your property. So, and on top of this, of course, the maintenance, because if we do, for example, and Kate will give you now more idea about regular maintenance, for example, with AC cleaning, right?
Yeah.
And
in that regard, what are some of the most common maintenance issues that come up with properties that you like, apartments specifically in Dubai?
AC maintenance.
Okay.
Always. Because unfortunately in Dubai there is a lot of sand and a lot of humidity during the summertime. So basic AC cleaning every 3 months.
Every 3 months?
Every 3 months, every quarter can really help your property to really maintain, and also if you have a preventive maintenance as well for the AC and early stage, they will know if there is a problem with the motor, if there is an issue. So and also like about the humidity, like recently, unfortunately, there is a lot of mold because of last summer it was really
because,
hot.
if you think about it, if the AC is not working properly, there will be condensation. It's water. So water will stay underneath the ceiling and will create mold at a certain point. And this will be very bad for your health, even for the apartment, of course, because tend to expand all around, to spread all around, and it will bring a lot of issue. That's why we try to prevent this with the AC cleaning, because I believe they do treatment as well to prevent
sanitization. And on the top of this, because we are the largest property management provider in Bulgaria, residences, and recently we start to installing in all our apartments dehumidifier, which is installed directly in the ceiling. So that really helps a lot, and all our tenants are very happy with the results, because literally all the moisture is sucking from the apartment. So of course, it's a bit expensive, but if we are talking about this kind of level, I think it makes sense just to prevent this thing.
Yeah.
And also, I would just advise not only the people who can. Not all of the owners can afford installing the dehumidifiers in the ceiling. There is a dehumidifiers which you can find it in the store, which is cost maybe 2,000-3,000 dirham. But again, it's a game changer if you bring it home.
Yeah.
You understand how beneficial this is going to be for you.
Because it's better than once you get the issue, and then to fix the issue, you're going to be spending more, and it's going to be a big headache.
Of course, and plus this black mold is really very affecting the human health.
So it's dangerous, yes.
So it's very dangerous. So it's better to have a prevention before anything can happen.
You know, I've heard this more so in other countries, which have which are more seasonal, which have like more rain, where like it's more common there. I haven't really heard too much about it, but this is quite shocking to hear that this can happen here in the UAE as well.
True, but I think the most moisture we have in London, because it's a more.
I mean, if you think about Dubai, like I believe in all around the world, people think Dubai the weather is dry because they think, we are next, like there's the desert, but most people forget we're on the water itself. Dubai is a city which is built. It's next to the sea, it's next to the Persian Sea, which is, like bring a lot of humidity. And the humidity level in summer it's insane. We're looking at 95% humidity, so you feel the water in the air.
Yeah.
And that's why it's really. And another thing to consider that we live most of the time indoor with the AC on, and at the same time we always advise all our tenants to leave AC on even when they're traveling, because the problem is if you switch off the AC and you don't leave it in auto mode, it's going to create condensation inside because it's really hot outside and then cold inside from the common area, from the corridor, which is going to create an impact between the areas and will create water.
Interesting.
And this we're going to bring mold. So it's very important. That's why, for example, from property management, we're having guidance for our tenant whenever they're traveling, how to maintain the AC to avoid issue for the long run. And that's how, was saying, I believe, most of owners overlook at the ROI, but it's really important to invest in maintenance because this will be a game changer. If you maintain your apartment properly, in the long run you will pay less in maintaining it at certain levels, certain standards, and then this you will benefit from because tomorrow morning you want to resell your apartment, it will be mean condition.
Okay.
If instead there are issue, as I said before, means you need to spend a couple of months to renovate it, to change everything, which is going to affect your return of investment.
Okay. Now, what would you say is the most stressful part about property management out of all the things that you've mentioned?
To be connected 24/7. Unfortunately, this is
24/7.
part of my work because, Carlo can confirm. Like also agent, when you're working in sales, you also have to be 24/7 on the phone in case if something happens. So I have to be available whenever I am. So whenever I'm traveling, whenever I'm not in Dubai, I'm always available in case of something happening. So that's I think the most challenging way for me.
It's not on, let's say, 9 to 5, Monday, Friday.
Work coming to me to home. But the good thing as well that basically you can also work from everywhere. Remotely,
Okay.
yeah. So because it's just you need your laptop, you need your phone, and that's basically all.
But that's what we are proud the most, in terms of it's very important, and clients know how reliable we are in terms of because I believe, if you have someone managing your apartment, it's a big deal at the end of the day. It's because, when someone is purchasing an apartment, especially even for investment, and like in our case, we try to offer a tailor-made solution for our clients, which comes not only with the product itself, which is already a big commitment. Because,
Yes.
We have different type of clients. They come from different background, different stories as well. Sometimes they buy with a lifetime savings. Sometimes it's just another property in the portfolio. But regardless of this, they care about their portfolio. They care about their asset. So for us, it's a big deal to make sure that we need to deliver. That's why it's very important for us even to update the owner even if there is no issue in the apartment. From property management, we are service that we keep posted the owner about what's going on in the apartment, regular AC cleaning, maintenance, anything, so they always are updated. They know there is someone taking care of their properties, and if there is an issue, we are always there 24/7.
Okay. And as a part of property management, do you also look into the financials of, like, let's say, where the rent projections are looking next year, and then advising the landlord accordingly?
Yeah, of course. First, we are checking the. Actually, this is mostly because we are working with the investors, and Carlo can confirm that for them it's very important to have a high ROI. So based on their goal, we always advise them. For example, if they want to go for short term, we can give them like this, which just gives them more high ROI compared to the long term. However, if they want to have just have peace of mind, just one check, one tenant, we also can provide that. So we are more about flexibility as well. But yeah, of course, we are going to the finance. We advising all the time if there is anything will be needed, and also advising maybe if the apartment needs to be just have a small upgrade, because before we signing property management contract as well, we are doing proper inspection in the apartment. We will have advise them to owner, for example, if there is something which can add value to the property, which can bring benefits not only to us but also to the.
Can you give an example of such a thing?
Yeah, for example, we have also furnishing in the house as well. So, for example, that person bought a house, and she wants to have not short term, but she wanted to have apartment
maybe fully furnished.
So
and you can provide that.
We can provide that, and actually most of the time furnished apartments is more easy. It's like a ready product for you. So you bought it, you furnish it, upgrade it, wherever you did it, and then you can sell. I think this is the common strategy in Dubai. Like you upgrade it and you sell it with a high value. So this is something we also working with owners.
Okay. Now, in terms of short-term rental, Dubai has an extremely high occupancy rate throughout the year, so which is a very good thing for investors. What is typically the ROI that you've seen in terms of short term, in terms of how much it can range from lowest to highest?
See, the average, we just recently actually checked, it was surprisingly not that high as they are saying.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it was about 60%.
The thing is, the Dubai is a big city, and Dubai is a seasonal destination because we have very big difference of number of people that visit in winter and summer due to the weather, of course. So the problem is there is at the moment lot of new supply coming, especially in areas that are not considered prime location, which means close to the major landmark, for example, downtown with Burj Khalifa in Dubai Mall, Palm Jumeirah, Marina. That area, Dubai is they start building towards even the desert. So there are new community that I believe, honestly speaking, not all areas are suitable for short term. That's why from our side, what we try to do, we run numbers, we run an analysis, and we try to present proposal to our investors, back up with numbers of how the market is performing. And as Kate was saying, recently we saw the average occupancy rate in Dubai is around 62%, means over 1 year, you have around 185, 190 nights occupied per year, but really depends on the area. This is the average, means all the area, because it depends as well on the type of product, because for example, even the villa itself, they have a lower occupancy, but the price per night is really high. Same as for the penthouse. But you have, for example, studios, which is the smallest size, that's very high occupancy. In downtown or Marina, you're looking sometimes at more than 90%.
Exactly.
Which means that over a month, you have 27 nights occupied, which is like a hotel, like top hotel standard,
Absolutely.
And means sometimes this is profitable, but at the same time you have more operational cost, which means cleaning, laundry, lot of things that need to be, put it into the full breakdown when you do the calculation. So I would say, as Kate was saying, everything really depends on the owner, on their expectation, and on the long-term solution. Because what's really important to consider when you do short-term, that as an investor, you have flexibility.
Okay.
Means tomorrow morning you want to sell your property, you're selling something like turnkey, means ready, well maintained, with figures you can basically show to the new buyer, look, my apartment is performing like this was the occupancy in the season, this was how much I made. If you're selling another apartment instead with a tenant, and maybe you want to use it as an owner, you need to provide the tenant with 12 months notice. As a owner, they want to occupy it. So means it might be a pushback. Maybe you need to wait 12 months to move into the apartment.
Right.
So it really depends, I would say, on the product, on the buyer, on the owner needs.
Okay. Now, we don't have much time left, but I do want to also address tenants and a little bit of their perspective. Now, just as you mentioned, the reason why if you would want to give someone a notice to leave the property and not renew the contract is because either you want to move into the property or you want to sell the property, if I'm not mistaken. These are the two conditions, right?
There is one more, I believe, right? For the if you need maintenance upgrade.
Yeah.
There are three conditions.
If
in
Three
you,
conditions.
if you want to, if you want to live in the apartment, if you want to upgrade the apartment, and
if you want to sell the
apartment,
Okay.
yes.
Now, suppose I'm a tenant living in a property and I get a notice that the tenant, the landlord wants to move into the property or wants to sell the property or any of the reasons. And then once I leave the apartment, I find out that it's neither of the conditions. The person's not even living in the property. They haven't even sold it. They just wanted to get me out of the property. Is there some legal action that can be taken in this case where they've, kind of exploited this, the landlord?
Of course. You have to. Again, it's coming to the rental dispute center where you're submitting the case, and for example, if the same apartment advertised or rented, you can, because right now everything is very transparent in Dubai. If you find it in, let's say, in
Evidence.
the Interact or by youth transactions, if it's there, of course you're going to go and submit the case. In this scenario, whatever on the top, whatever is the new rent, and including your rent, so whatever is between the difference, the owner has to compensate you.
Okay.
So of course, in this scenario, you kind of save, I would say.
Okay. And another concern that tenants often have is rental increases, but Dubai, I believe, has mechanisms to prevent exploitative things what some landlords tend to do in terms of rental increase. So how does Dubai handle that?
In Dubai is a very straightforward process because we have a RERA calculator, so it's working very simple. So you have to just submit your end of the day tenancy contract, submit your ijari, and then based on that there is a proper document which is, if it's eligible to increase, I believe there is a 10%. And 20%, which is the 20% is the highest you can increase for the owner. So, and this is where you understand if your property is eligible for the increasement or not. So
Okay.
the owner cannot go and say, okay, now I want 1 million dirham for the
exactly.
rent.
Exactly. All right, makes sense.
The market is really like the regulation is there, everything is black and white, transparent, and the index really help because both party. Because as a tenant, you know your rights. If the owner what is saying makes sense to you, it's true. This is the benchmark, or if maybe the owner is just trying to push the price above certain level, you will pay a premium which is not fair to pay.
Right. Okay, makes sense. Now, for tenants, what are some tips that you would give to them when they're looking to rent a property? What are some tips or some advice that you would give to them in order for them to find like a nice property, maybe negotiate a better rent?
Well, basically, what they really have to do is, again, check carefully because most of the disputes really happening with landlord is about if there was inventory list and the condition of the apartment. So this is the biggest tips you have to submit the condition of the apartment. So if this is really working and if any appliances is not working, so whatever before the person move in, so they know the condition of the apartment. And then on the top of that, of course, unfortunately we cannot do the check on the owner, but again, if there is a company who manage the apartment, for sure 100% you will not have any problem. If there is, because say we are working again very legally, very straightforward, and of course we are not allowed, I would say, to increase the rent more than RERA index, right? And this is again, if there is a property manager, of course it's going to be a middle part, which is makes things easily because. If there is any dispute from this side, so I'm always trying to find a compromise between two parties.
Okay.
Because they're very important to highlight, the property management company is appointed by the owner, so the owner should trust the company, but even the guidance from the company on the process, because it's two ways. Kate, for example, my advice, as she was mentioning, and this is very important at the beginning, for example, because for our international client, even when they purchase off plan, we offer a snagging service. Snagging is this pre-handover process where you go to the apartment with property management from our side. If the owner is there, it will come as well. Otherwise, we will represent the owner and the developer. So we make sure even the brand new apartment are handed over in perfect condition, because it's very important for someone that's buying from overseas, but even in Dubai, they receive what they pay for. So as a property management service, we provide as well snagging, and we take care of the handover. And then at that stage, the property management department would offer two type of solution, which might be either we rent the apartment like it is and furnish, or maybe they decide to furnish it. So they prepare a mood board, they prepare furnishing like drawings to understand what kind of furnishing can be done, or even minor upgrades. Maybe they want to add some decoration, cladding, they want to add some custom-made furniture. So we are always there to try to guide the client in the full process from A to Z to understand more how can they maximize the value of the units, at the same time what they need and what they're looking for, because not all owners are interested in investing more money in the apartment. Maybe they say, look, I just want to rent it and furnish, please find me a tenant, nice guy, nice lady, couple, whatever. I'm just happy with that.
Okay, excellent. No, that's very comprehensive in regards to what Sonimmo offers in terms of its after sales. And after sales is such an important aspect of overall investing, and a lot of people take that for granted, I think, and it's very important to highlight that.
Especially in such a competitive market where there are you see a lot of projects every day, you see developers selling. I think in Dubai is one of the unique places in the world that you land. You see billboard all around you from the master developer in Dubai. You go to the shopping mall, you see, booth from developers. You walk even on the beach, you find again developers. Dubai is all about real estate.
And I mean, because I've been working in real estate as well, and I've personally seen agents that sell a property, they overpromise, but then once the property is sold and the after-sale service is needed, they block their client and they don't follow up, they don't help them out.
Yeah. Unfortunately, this happens a lot. That's why for us it's very important to advise. We're not here to sell anything. We're here to build relationship, because I believe personally, but this is the vision that we share all together. That's very important to make sure that the customer is satisfied, because I think if you first listen to what they need, then you try to deliver, you offer solution, people will come back, they will refer you, they will support you as well in the growth of the business. Instead, most of the time, if you just ended up doing the transaction, people will forget about you. Actually, maybe they will look after after a few years. They will look for you just to maybe blame on something that didn't know what happened because they were not advised properly.
Right.
Instead, as Sonimmo, we want to be confident to say sometimes, look, in our opinion, this investment might make sense. Another investment, maybe you should avoid it. Of course, everything should be backed up by numbers, data. We don't say just something because we would like to say things, but because we would like to, have the confidence that in a few years we'll sit together. You come back, you will say, okay, you know what? Thank you for advising me on this.
Okay.
Because of course market can change, market can adjust, market can go down or up. We cannot really control that.
Right.
But we can advise based on result in the last couple of years, what's working, what's not working. And we learn a lot with property management, I can guarantee you. It's one of the verticals in Sonimmo and in general real estate that personally I learn the most because you see how the environment is maintained, what are the operational costs, what are the main issue in the long run to maintain a unit, what you need to do in terms of to add value to the unit. So it's a very good case study, I would say.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that covers all. Thank you both so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
And it's a pleasure.
Thank
you.